our goals because you've been here before for that. This is the website where you can find all of the recordings, except for last week, for the media labs that we've done up into this. If you've been with us before, you know that I always share a little bit about finding your roots, because that is the inspiration for digital storytelling for this series of Media Lab. And our hope is that, one, you'll tune in to Finding Your Roots on Tuesday nights on Montana PBS at 7 p.m. and watch Henry Louis Gates wow the newest celebrity with the untold stories from their past. And two, that you might explore some of the cool teaching resources we have on PBS Learning Media about finding your roots. And so I just featured one here today. I'm not even going to show the video today because I want to make sure we have tons of time to get through iMovie. But I would really encourage you to go to PBS Learning Media and find resources for using this in your class. And like I always say, maybe it inspires you to teach digital storytelling. Maybe you show the clips to your students. However it works, it's just the idea that when we get kids to do some research about their families and their ancestors, we want them to produce some kind of digital project that helps them to show what they learned, and it's something that can be preserved and shared for time, on and on and on. So that's my spiel. Check out Finding Your Roots. Without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Anne and let her tell us about digital storytelling with iMovie.
Awesome. Okay, it's good to see some of your faces. Well, it's good to see all of your faces, but some of you guys I haven't seen in ages. That's awesome. Thanks for being here. I was really excited. I'm always really excited to share things because I believe as teachers, we're all better when we can teach each other the treasures that we know. I started doing iMovie because I had this brain baby about, must have been like 15 years ago. And it was after attending a workshop from Anita Archer. I worked at Ponderosa here in Billings, and we were a Title I school with a big grant. And we had to raise our scores in reading and math. So I thought, there's so much vocabulary. I was laying in bed one night and I realized, oh my gosh, one of the ways that I came to love words, this is going to sound so goofy, but was from watching Pee-wee's Playhouse as a kid. Do you remember? And he had Cherry and all the little characters, but there was always a word of the day. And I thought to myself, what if I just picked one of those words that I knew we were going to encounter throughout the day, and I'd teach them a little bit about it. It would be up on the board so they'd remember. And then every time that somebody said that word, we would cheer about it. And it started off like that. And over the years, it really it changed everything about the way that I taught. And what we ended up doing towards the end, before I left teaching, was I was having my students, I was giving them the words a week in advance and then having them take a flip camera. Do you remember those? I got that grant for some little flip cameras. They would take them home, make a video with their parents, and then we would stay after school together and use iMovie to put it into a video so that they then taught that word the following week. It was so fun, but I was like, crap, I better learn how to use iMovie because I don't know how to teach these kids to make movies. So in the process of doing this with 10-year-olds, you're going to see how my 10-year-old knowledge comes out, but it allowed them to demonstrate their understanding in a way that wouldn't have been as engaging to the class if they just sat up there and talked about the word. So they were so clever. They were so clever. I should link some of them in here because those kids are like 20 now. But anyway, so iMovie, I'm going to zip my lips right here because I almost said it, Nikki. I almost said it. All right, I'm going to open this up. Can you see my screen okay? That's the other part of the requirement is you have to announce that you're going to share your screen, and then you have to ask if everyone can see your screen. So iMovie is, I'm going to do this kind of in a way where I do, we do, you do. I'm going to walk through a couple things. You don't have to do anything until the we do part, and then I'll give you some time to play around with it and ask questions. So in a nutshell, if you have never used iMovie, iMovie is just a really pretty simple way to view, edit, and share movies on any of your Apple devices. So Mac, iPad, iPhone. What I've done here today, you'll see on my slides, I've shown the view of what we're going to talk about on both. I used my phone for this because of the size. So the phone view and then also the computer view. So no matter what device you're on, hopefully you'll be able to follow along and see. But know that the Apple support online has a really in-depth, step-by-step kind of a manual for whichever way that you're using it. So if you want to view, edit, and share movies, whether it's, doing your own, like having your students do them, or doing your own ancestry project, or whatever it happens to be, it's a really simple tool for putting some pretty important information out there, like Nikki said, to live. So first of all, just to kind of lay the foundation, there's several things that you can do in iMovie. One is create. So on the left here, you're looking at my phone, and on the right, you're looking at my computer. The iPad is probably going to look more like the phone, being a mobile device. And no, you can also use it with your device turned sideways, like the shape of your TV. I don't know why teenagers always record things up and down, but I always have to tell my son, turn the phone sideways. I think it's because I'm old fashioned, but anyway, you can turn it sideways, but there's just the formats for fitting. So obviously you can create, you can edit, and this is anything from individual products to smaller clips. So if you took a video of yourself eating donuts at Randy's last week and you need to edit out the part where you cussed because you dropped some of your Fruit Loops on the road, whatever, you can do that easily. You can add all kinds of fun effects, sound and text and video, and also music. So we'll get into that just a little bit more as we proceed. But finally, you can share. And that's really the most valuable part, because it's really fun to make all this stuff. But if you're not going to do anything with it, obviously, you're going to have a little bit of a boring experience. So we're going to talk about creating, editing, and sharing kind of in that order as we go. I'm curious, though, how have you used iMovie? If you have, so you could say, I've not used it at all. I've opened it and looked at it and it freaked me out, so I closed it. Or just kind of in the chat, put, what's your experience with iMovie? Cool. None. Yay! Yay! Oh, good. Trimming ends, never. Sweet. I'm glad there's so many nevers, because you're going to go from not knowing anything to knowing a few things, and it'll be so awesome. Cool. Yeah. Good. So a few of you have used it. That's great. So be sure, if you have any questions, or if you know of a technique or a tip, for those of you who have used it, if you're aware of some kind of a trick that I don't mention or that you have discovered and everybody should know about, please share that here in the chat, because like I said, I'm just kind of sharing with my own experience, but I guarantee you there'll be things that I forgot. Okay, so we're going to talk about first kind of the getting to know you, and then we'll actually get in and play. Some of the vocabulary around iMovie to me was kind of confusing, because you have libraries, clips, projects, the playhead, the skimmer, and I didn't know what all of those were. So I'm just going to kind of highlight some of the more important ones. First of all, your projects are going to be the things you're working on. So the videos you're making, whether it's just trimming a clip, or putting together an entire slideshow for your end of the year event, or whatever it happens to be, each one of those things is called a project. And your projects are probably the first thing that you're going to see when you open up iMovie. To create a new project, whether you're on a mobile device or on your computer, you're going to have this plus sign. So when I'm talking about projects, I'm talking about this kind of outer library that's like the shelf where all of your either completed or in works projects are. So that's what that is there. When you are looking at this project screen, you have a couple of options. You can either create a movie or you can create a trailer. And we're going to get into trailers at the end. I think when I've done this course before, Nikki, I think I did trailers at the beginning and people are so excited about it that they don't listen for the rest. So this time, I think I got smart. We're going to talk about the nitty gritty stuff first. And then if you're like, oh my gosh, just know that the trailers at the end are really fun and easy. So you'll have that to look forward to. So when we're looking at these to start with, for now, I'm going to be concentrating on movies to begin with. So when you click that plus sign on the projects, you're going to see the option movie or trailer. This first round of exploration, we're going to do movie. Okay. So once you open up your movie then, or you actually get into there, there's something called your libraries. And your libraries are where all your stuff is. So you can import things directly into iMovie. So either from your device or you can record directly in iMovie. You can pull them in off of lots of different places. But your library is, again, where all the footage is that you're going to put into your project. So your library consists of videos, photos, music, audio, like just all kinds of different things. But primarily that's the contents of your project. Then you have within your libraries the sources. So if I'm looking at my photos, you'll see that on my phone, it breaks it down into the albums that I have on my photo roll. And on my computer, I've created my own, we'll call them albums. It's my movie library. So I've named these albums so that the footage from the library is categorized and easier to find for me inside here. So that was one thing that for me was just really hard to get my head around. Projects, libraries, clips, blah, 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 blah. So just kind of knowing what is going to be found where is helpful. I'm throwing in a couple of these pro tips because these are things that I figured out the hard way. And I do like to cuss, but I don't like the circumstances that make me have to cuss. So if I can prevent you from cussing, it's a win for the world. So here's one. When you're in photos on your phone or on your iPad or on your computer, and you know that there's a cute little image or a video that you really want to include in a project, down at the bottom on your phone or iPad and up at the top on your computer is a little heart. That's to favorite that particular piece of media. When I'm going to go back one slide. When you're looking for your footage, and I know I've seen some of your phones, your actual phones, you don't organize your stuff very well. But when you are looking at your albums, say on your phone, it's really easy to find that favorites folder and pop those in. So whether you're on your computer or on your tablet or whatever, your mobile device, those favorites are super helpful. I wish that I would have known about that a long time ago. So you're welcome. All right. So a couple of the things here. When we're looking at all of this media that you have, there's a couple of ways that you can insert it. When you're looking at your phone or your tablet, you're going to have these check boxes. And I do this every single time. I select a bunch of stuff that I want in there. And then because most apps, the create button is up at the top right, I hit cancel instead of create movie, which is down at the bottom. So just know I'm not sure where it is on the iPad, but you're looking, once you've selected your media on your mobile device, it's checked box like this. And then it's create movie at the bottom. In the computer, everything turns yellow. And then there's a couple different ways that you can put it in. So you can see just visually the ones that you've selected versus the ones that you haven't. Okay, so one more pro tip on the computer. I figured out this one the hard way too, I think by accident. And then I was like, what did I do? If you've selected stuff up at the top, I'm going to go back one slide real quick here. if you've selected some stuff at the top, right here it tells you drag and drop video clips and photos from the browser above to start creating your movie. If you've selected, like you've held down your command key and done this one and that one, no, not these three, this one, you've gone to the trouble of selecting those, you've masterfully manipulated both your hands, and then you try to drag. If you've ever dropped those things, you know what I'm talking about, and you're like, which ones did I pick? It's super frustrating. Instead of trying to click and then drag and then unclick, just use the E key. The E key, I just think of it in my mind as enter them into the project. That will drop them right down from this pane into the timeline. This right down here is called the timeline. So just so you have that little tidbit of information, I'm going to show you where to find the other keyboard shortcuts in just a little bit. So once you've selected your media and either tapped create movie or hit E or dragged your stuff down into the timeline, then there's a couple things you might want to do. When this thing is moving, this yellow line here is called the skimmer, but the yellow line itself, you'll notice has a little arrow above it. That's called the playhead, and this thing is called the skimmer. So you can move the skimmer around, and then if you want to quickly play something without having to come up here and click or come up here and click on your computer, you can just hit spacebar, and that spacebar will play it from wherever that playhead is. So if you've moved that skimmer to wherever you want, you just hit spacebar and it'll start to play. Spacebar will stop it again. So that's really useful to know, that spacebar, and that works in pretty much any application that plays videos on your Mac. Fun fact. Okay, so I've shown you just kind of what we're going to do, and now we're going to go through and I'm going to do it on iMovie. Does that sound okay? Do you guys have any questions you want me to talk about while that's happening? Okay, well, if you do, just pop them into the chat. Hopefully now you're seeing my iMovie. I'm going to use my computer because I think the computer version is a little bit more challenging, we'll say, than the iOS application, but the controls should be pretty similar. So here's my project library. Up at the top here, I have a couple of different options. I can view all of my media, or I can view my projects. I almost never click up here on media, but just know that it is there. So if you're trying to browse for to find something in your photos, or if you're trying to find something in a video you made before, not that, good grief. But your media is all there. And then this is, remember, the projects that hold that media. So I'm going to create new, and I'm going to say movie. And what it's trying to take me to here is one of my, we'll call them albums, that I made within iMovie here, because this is where I've uploaded the media for that particular project. So I've got stuff in here. If I want to see everything, I can just go up to my photos or events, whatever it happens to be. I don't really use my photos on my computer. I pretty much only use my computer for work stuff. So what I find myself doing a lot is using Airdrop. So I'm sending stuff from my phone to my computer. Does anybody not know how to use Airdrop? Okay, I'm going to show you because it's a super, super handy skill. Let's see here. So hopefully you can see me and then my computer as well. What I'm going to do, I'm going to open up my photos on my computer, or I'm sorry, on my phone. And I have a collection of pictures that I want to get off here and onto my computer really easy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to select on my phone, and I'm just going to pick a few of them. By the way, I don't know if you know this fun trick. Instead of having to tap individual photos, you can just drag your finger across. Whoops. I say, once you pick one, you can select, you can drag when you hit select, you can drag your finger across it and it'll pull down a whole bunch of them. It'll select them for you. Okay, so down here is the share button on your phone. I'm going to hit the share button and AirDrop is going to come on as one of the options. It's coming on because I have that setting turned on my phone. If you don't have the setting turned on your phone, you can just find it through your settings. Just go in there, pull down and search AirDrop. I turn mine on to everyone. And just so you know what happens, sometimes you'll be in a public place like a line at Disneyland and some random person will try to AirDrop something to you. Just decline it. Sometimes they're funny, sometimes they're super inappropriate, but that's what you get if you have it on everyone. So I'm just going to tap AirDrop on here and my computer comes up as one of the options for AirDrop because I also have AirDrop turned on my computer. So when I tap AirDrop, it's going to say waiting, waiting. And then my computer gets a little thing that says, do you want to accept these photos from Anne's phone? And I say yes. So now, let me drag them over here. These ones that are blue right here on my screen just flew through the air from my phone to my computer. So it's pretty awesome. I'm going to just new folder so that those are all in one. And I'm going to call it AirDropped. Okay, so those are on my computer now. I'm going to come over here and right up at the top, I can actually just drag those right straight into iMovie, but I'm going to show you from here. This is the download button. Download goes down, upload goes up. I'm going to find that folder. It's in my downloads. Hold on, I got a mess. Downloads. I call it AirDropped stuff. And here's all those pictures. So I'm going to import them all. And you see where they came in? Up here. This is like the media to be considered. And it just goes in here to project media. If I want to take these and put them in a library here like this, I can right click on this section and create what's called a new event. It's the places that I'm going to make a video out of my AirDrop stuff. So it's like an album within the album. So when I come in here and I want all of those things to be part of this album, I'm just going to drag them in. That filters out all of the rest of the junk that might be up here in this folder. So later, if I have to come back and find it, it's just going to be that stuff that I needed. So do you remember how I said I can quickly get stuff down into the timeline? What button I push? Yeah. So here I'm going to select this photo and that photo and this one. And I can either click and drag and hope that I don't drop them, or I can just hit E. And everything that was highlighted yellow up here is now dropped into my project. It comes in order, in the order that they appear here. So let's say I decide I want to add this one too. I can, if I hit E, it'll go to the end. If I want to put it in a specific place, Command Z, by the way, Command Z is undo everywhere. It works in here too. If I want to take that picture and put it in between these two, you see how when I drag it, it gives me that little ghost outline of where to put it. I can move that anywhere I want. Now I'm going to put it here and I want to show you what happens there. Okay. So I'm going to delete it for now. When I play this, I'm going to hit the space bar. The default timing for any photo that goes into your project is going to be 4 seconds. And we'll talk about how to extend that when we talk about editing. See how they're just sitting there and you have to stare at them for 4 seconds. If I take this one and I plop it on top here of this one, watch what happens when I play from here, spacebar. See how it like overwrites that picture? That is up here. I can edit that to go different modes here. So cutaway, green screen, blue screen. So if you were here for Sarah's last week, here's where you do green screen. I can do split screen, so it'll show them both in that same pane, or I can do picture in picture. So I can take the one on top is the one that will be little, and I can put that inside of the other one. This is really cool. We'll get to talk about this later when, say you're doing an interview with some kids and the voice is going and you want to show them doing some work while the voice is still running. You can overlay the thing that you want them to see with the thing that they're hearing below. So that's kind of a useful thing when you're talking about videos. For pictures, it's not, unless you're going to do picture in picture or whatever. So if you put something in a place where you don't mean to, you just click and drag and move it. Super simple. So if you want to put them all, Command A selects them all, E enters them. And I told you I was going to show you where to find the keyboard shortcuts. I'm sure there's a list of them somewhere online, but when you're looking through your menus up here, see the little ghost letters off to the right there in the menus? If you find you're doing something quite often, like wanting to drop individual photos or videos into your timeline, find it up here and memorize the letter. Some of them are command and some of them are just straight letters. But over time, you'll just start to remember what those are, like E, for example. Really useful for if you're doing a lot of videos often. If you guys did not see, John put into the chat the question mark that shows up on your mobile device. If you tap that question mark on, then everything you do, it'll give you a little dialogue that explains what it is and what it does. The computer has that too. It's the little, let me find it. Under the help menu, there's an iMovie help, which is the user guide. But I thought there was a question mark too.
And can you tell me on an iPad how you stack your photos?
Yes. So like if you wanted to do like
a side by side or yeah.
Yeah, let's take a look here.
I keep trying to drag it on top of it, but it's not working.
Yeah, okay. Can I put my phone over on the right side here? So on my screen, I'm going to go to movie, pick a few things. Okay, let's see. I have to think about this. It might be one of those. Let me look up to see if you can even do it. Let me Google that for you.
I can Google it too. That's no problem.
Oh,
I thought maybe it was like something I was doing wrong, but if your phone won't do it either, then
it shows that you can. How do you do picture in picture? I don't want a video. Okay, let's see. In your movie timeline, not Mac. Here we go. In your movie timeline, select the first clip. Okay. Tap the plus sign at the bottom. I don't see a plus sign. Maybe it only works with video. Wait. Okay, I found it. I love learning new things. Okay, so it occurs before you even put the media into the project. So when you click on the plus sign here and it shows you your media, when you go to select one of those, can you see at the bottom here where it shows the plus and the three dots? Yeah. On the three dots,
picture in picture, blue screen, split screen. Got it. So it means that if I want to do it, I've got to pull the picture out of my order first, and then select the picture to do that. Okay.
Yes, the one that you want to be in the picture is going to be the one you'll choose from the media section on the after the plus. Awesome, 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 awesome. Okay, so far we've created. Now we're going to edit. And even if this is just a, I'll call it a junky project, one you don't intend to keep, we're learning, and that's totally fine to just throw out some random stuff. So I'm not going to, give you a quiz later and ask you to submit your final project or anything mean like that. I mean, we just had spring break, so my brain is not anywhere near that. Okay, so I did the live little walkthrough. You took a turn. We're going to talk now about editing. Okay, so a couple essentials that you need to know. When you're looking at an element, let's say a piece of media, we'll call it a clip within your project, it's in your timeline. Whoa, 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 whoa. One of the ways that you might choose to edit it is to adjust the duration of that. Oh no. Holy moly, Darla. Really simple way to do that is to see where it's yellow there. If you click on the item that has the yellow, you can drag the ends back and forth. So you're just gonna take it and drag it. That works on both videos and on photos. With videos, when doing that is gonna trim off some of your video. So that's where that pushing the space bar to play it and see exactly what part you have deleted is really helpful. There is a way to refine that and make it a little bit more perfect. I'll show you that in a second on the live walkthrough. But for the phone or the mobile device and for mobile, there is another way to shorten it on the computer version, and I'll show you that in a minute too. So that's one of the things you might want to do. Whatever is selected is going to be yellow. You'll see that whatever the yellow thing is, that's what you're going to be editing. The other thing that you can do is remove sections or eliminate frames from a video. So on this particular video on the right here, this kid was talking for kind of a long time, and he had several sections in there. And so in the final video that I was making that had that in it, I didn't really want to have him because one, my entire project was on a bit more of a time constraint, but also I didn't think that he would want that in there. So one of the things that you can do on the computer is just kind of click and drag from the media section up top, and it'll highlight it in the project below, and then you can delete it. Another way to do that is the way that you're going to have to do it on your mobile device, and that's to split a clip, which we'll get into a little bit more in a second here. Once you've split it, you can split it on either end of the part you want to take out, and then just delete that middle section. So you don't have to trim the ends off. You can also take the middle out too. Finally, here we're talking about splitting. On the iOS, it's really simple. You just move the skimmer so that the playhead is in the part where you want to trim it, and you hit split. On the computer, it's a similar thing. I right click on almost everything. If I want to know how to do something, I right click to see if it's there, which was also really frustrating, by the way, when I was trying to learn how to use the Adobe stuff, because it's not really right click friendly. So right click, if you don't know how to do something, right click on it. Chances are you'll get a tutorial or you'll see it in there. I happen to know now, because I've done it often enough, that Command B, break, is your next pro tip that I'll give you here in a minute, but you can split that clip just to get a little bit more fine-tuned. And then, as I showed you before, moving your clips around, you just click on it and drag, and that works the same on your mobile device or on your computer, clicking and dragging. Once you have those little adjustments made, it's really nice to have some transitions in there. Yes, Nikki. Transitions just smooth that blend from one scene to the next. Otherwise, it's kind of abrupt. When I see a slideshow and I'm watching when somebody didn't use transitions, I'm kind of like, it just feels really harsh. So putting transition in there, I'll show you how to do this on the on the computer, but with the iOS or mobile device, it's really simple. You just click transitions. If you have a theme selected, which we'll get into here in a minute, it'll automatically put transitions in for you, and they're really cute and they have little noises. So transitions are useful. If you want to just be really simple with your transitions and put in a cross dissolve, I feel like that's a really subtle but professional looking transition. Anything you select, so whether it's in between two clips or if you select them all by doing Command A and hit Command T, that will insert a transition into everything that you have selected. I use that one quite often. Once I get all my pieces in place and I have them trimmed up and adjusted for the duration, I just select them all, hit Command T, and it puts that transition between all of them. And it'll always be, if you use the Command T, it'll always be cross dissolve, just know that. If you want your program to automatically put transitions in between your media for you, just, it's always going to have transitions. On the computer, if you click on the settings button over here on the right, kind of in between the preview pane and the timeline, settings, one of the things you'll see there is this automatic content. If you turn that on, so check that on there right there, it'll automatically put transitions in for you in between each slide. The settings is the cog on the Apple device. You'll see it there. It automatically assumes that you want transitions, especially if you have a theme selected, but they're really easy to change when you tap on the transition itself. So we'll get into that on the live walkthrough. Titles. So they call text titles. A lot of times it really is a title that you're going to be putting in, but sometimes it's more like a caption. The T is what that is on the mobile. And then on the computer, it's up here under titles. And you'll see the menus down at the bottom on the iOS, and it's up at the top on the computer. But when you're looking to put text on there, it's called titles. So you can either put it, you can decide where to put it based on what it says. It's a little bit more obscure on the mobile. I'll show you that in a sec. You have, as I said here, title placement. You can either do it in the middle like a title, and it does a pretty cool job of showing you what it's going to look like. If you just hover over any one of these selections on your computer and even move your mouse to the side, it'll show you what that title will look like. Some of them are animated and some of them are just static. When you're in the iOS and you click on title, where I was showing here, the 3 dots, so right click and 3 dots, those are your friend in any computer thing. The 3 dots that you see here beside any of your title options is going to open up this style guide, and that's, do you want it to be the default and show it where it is here in the middle, or do you want it to be down at the bottom more like a caption? So that's just a little more obscure, as I was saying. On the phone and on the computer both, you can decide whether you want it to show that text over the entire clip or whether you want it to just be on part of it. Like here, if I were to play this, it would play for a few seconds as he talks, and then it would show this lower third works best for captions for 4 seconds, and then it would turn off. So it's not playing over the entire thing. The duration, that's what I just said, you can adjust. You can also edit the look of it. So on the iOS, it's here under the font menu when you click on a letter. And on your computer, it's going to be up here when you actually double click on this text box. So if you don't see a menu on something, right click, double click, that's useful. So this is one of my favorite things, and I think I discovered this one by accident too, and it was the maps. You can make a map and it'll be animated like this. You tell it where you want to start and where you want it to go. So if, like last April, my son and I went on a trip to Waco, Texas. If I was going to do a memory movie about that, I might start the movie off with this map. And there's several different types of maps you'll see when you dig in there too. It's just kind of a fun way to add a little flair there. And then on the left here, I have one of the animated backgrounds. Apple has built in several backgrounds and like a floating curtain. It looks like it's waving in the wind. There's a whole bunch of different options that you have that are already built in there. So finally, well, not finally, because there's a couple more, but we get to audio. Audio, there's several options that come as part of the program. The phone version or the iPad version has tons of soundtracks. You can make, as long as you are not going to share it out there or try to sell it or publish it on YouTube or Facebook, whatever, you can use any music you have on your device. But no, it's copyrighted. It's probably going to get flagged up if you put it anywhere. So it's been really useful having the access to the library, the soundtracks library that comes with the iMovie program. There's some pretty much a little theme or song tune for any occasion that you can think of. There's holidays, there's moody kind of sad music. I mean, there anything that you want, you can think of. The ones that you see on the left here that are grayed out for me are the ones that I haven't downloaded from the cloud yet. Just save room on my device. But the other ones, it's really easy to kind of try them on. Just download it and listen. If that's the right kind of feeling that you want for your project, you can use it or not. So we'll get into that on the live demo too, but know that the other option for audio is recording a voiceover. And this is probably one of the things that I do most frequently. I will record, I write myself a script, not for now, obviously you can tell, but when I'm making a video, I'll write myself a script and read it. And then I edit out my ers and ums and whatever. In the same way you can edit those videos, you can break your audio and edit out all those little funky noises. So that's your voiceover. I typically will get all my project put together first and then do the voiceover. And then I'll adjust the duration of my clips so that it fits my audio. So let's see. If you have audio from, let's say I want to take the video out of this kid's, I want to take the audio out of this kid, his talking, and pop it onto a different, either some images of his work or him playing out on the playground or whatever it happens to be. You can right click on the computer and detach the audio. They come together as a single file, but when you detach it, it allows you to move that audio around to other clips. It's pretty cool. The mobile device is really straightforward. When you pick something that has sound to it, you just select it, it turns yellow, and then you can see detach at the bottom, and it'll pop that audio section down below. So then you can put in other images or whatever as that audio plays over. Pro tip for you, I turn on the waveforms, and that's that visual thing that you see down on the bottom when I'm looking at audio. I want to know if there's going to be like especially if I'm using a microphone, when I'm talking and I say P or T and it makes that, it's really off-putting when you hear that in your ear. So you can adjust visually. When I see that there's yellow or red, I know there's going to be some sound distortion there. So I always leave that waveform on so that I can see when there's places where it's going to be really loud. I saw a great tip from Tony Vincent. If you're narrating a voiceover and you make a mistake and you know you want to come back to it, do something really loud like clap, and it'll show up on that waveform so that when you're looking to edit that out again, you'll see where that clap occurred and you can quickly go to it. So now I'm going to show this to you. I'm going to try to do it on both my phone and my computer. I mean, I'm not a great multitasker, but I'm going to give it my best go. So let me get those up here. Okay. So on the right, I've got my phone. On the left, I have my computer. Hopefully you were able to get some images and some videos if you have that in there. And if you don't have any video on your phone, maybe even just try to record a quick thing of your dog or your cat walking around. So you have some video in there to experiment too. So you're going to add some transitions. That's going to be one thing. I'm going to go ahead and do them individually so I can show you how to do that. Up at the top on the computer is where transitions are. When I choose that, these are all of the transitions that I have to choose from. So I can move my mouse over it. I'm not even clicking. I'm just hovering over it, moving it back and forth. So I can see that that's what that looks like. Any one of those, you can test it out and it'll show you what it will look like to try it on. So if I click and drag one of these down in between my two clips, and then I'm just doing that same technique. I'm just hovering over. I can see what that looks like. If you decide you don't like it, you just drag a different one in its place and that will swap it out. You can also just delete it and do it again. I tend to use cross transition or cross dissolve because I think it's just the most straightforward, simple. I will say, and tell this to your kids because they don't know this and it'll drive you crazy. One transition per project. Don't do every different transition there is because it's sickening to look at and it's very distracting. I see a couple people nodding because you know I'm right on that. Pick one type of transition and stick with it for the whole entire thing. So because I know I'm going to do that, I'm just going to go ahead and select them all by doing Command A. Yes, fade to black is really nice. And then I'm going to hit Command T to put those transitions in between all of them because I just know that that's what I'm going to like the best. It automatically puts one in at the beginning, which I think is really nice because you get that fade in. Over here on my phone, I'm going to go ahead and just leave it with the ones that are there because it's dissolve. You can see at the bottom. When I hit the settings there, I can have it fade in and out from black. I usually turn that on because on the phone or on the mobile device, unlike on your computer, it does not put that transition there at the beginning. So it's kind of nice to know how to get that more subtle feed in for your project. And as I said, remember, you can also turn your device sideways. I've been doing it up and down this whole time because of space, but you do get a lot more real estate to see the timeline when you turn it sideways. Okay, so I did the transitions. I'm going to adjust the length of some of my clips because I want to show you that other way on the computer of how you can do that. On the phone, it's really easy. You just select something and you drag it outward to make it longer, inward to make it shorter. By default, as I said before, it's always 4 seconds. So if you want to get it back to 4 seconds how it came, you can undo, which is this little arrow here to the right. So I want it to stay 4 seconds. On this one, it shows me up here in the corner. I wish I could zoom better here. If I zoom, can you see that, or does it zoom for you? Did it zoom? No, shoot. Okay, well, up in the top left corner on my computer, it shows me that it's 3 seconds. When you put a transition in, it takes a half a second off of each end. So previously I had those images going in at 4 seconds each, but when I added them transitions, it cut them down to 3 seconds each. So some of these I want to be longer. So I can either just click on one of the ends where I get this little bar with the arrows and I can drag it. Or the other way that I can do that is select the entire thing, go up here to the eye, which is information about the selected thing. In this case, it's a clip. And I can change the direction or duration manually to 4 seconds there. I actually use that a lot when I have something like a song that I want to fit a certain image precisely over a certain set of lyrics. So I get the song, it's playing and it starts right here and I want that thing to go to here. I can either watch on the timeline where the sound wave is, or I can adjust it here and making it say 5 seconds long instead of 3 or whatever. So sometimes I have better luck doing it by hand like this. If I'm working with a really long project and it's hard to see, oh, I got to show you one other thing. I'll adjust it up here. So see how right here I have some pretty fine level of control over the length of each of these pictures. This is so helpful to know. I should have put this in as a pro tip. This is the view, the zoom, I'll call it. I'm sure it has a name. It's escaping me right now what it is. But you see how when I adjust this back and forth, it's not changing the duration of any of my clips. What it's doing is zooming how far in or how far out I'm seeing the project. If I want to see all of my images, I can zoom this way back and all my clips are going to condense into this timeline screen here. But when I do that, it's really hard. See, now I just drug that a little and all of a sudden this is up to 54 seconds long. Oops, that's way too long. This is where I was saying doing this, the eye up here and adjusting that manually to 5 seconds is much easier. The reason it looks so weird is because I have this zoomed all the way out. Yes, yes, Sarah. This way, when I zoom in, it's going to show me that clip as if I zoomed in and I'm looking at it much closer. And now you can see when I just did that one, let me go back and do that to 54 seconds again. Whoops, now it's 1:03, but let's say I didn't notice it. When I zoom back in, why is this thing so long? Because I drug it when it was zoomed way out and I just didn't have as much control. So now that it's so far out, it's going to be hard to get back to 5 seconds again. Here's another reason why it's really useful to be able to change that manually up here. So on my computer, I've added transitions. I have adjusted the length of some of these. There's one other thing that I didn't put in the slides, but I want to show you, and that is this Ken Burns effect. So if I play this right now, you're going to see that these static images just sit there. And you get to stare at it for 3 seconds or 5 seconds or whatever magical amount of time that I've determined. It's really hard to watch somebody's slideshow when it's like this because you're not really sure, okay, as an ADHD 10-year-old, I'm not really sure where to focus on this picture. The Ken Burns effect helps me, helps the creator, help the viewer to know what to look at. So if here I want to start with it showing our faces and then I want to zoom in to the Griffith Observatory up here, I can turn this Ken Burns effect on and I can force you to see what I want you to see. So if I go to the cropping menu, when I have something selected and turn Ken Burns on, these outlines here show you what you're going to start seeing and what you're going to end seeing. So right now I have it set so you're going to start wide and then it's going to zoom in on my left eye. Not cool, but let me show you what it looks like. See that, how it plays in? So one quick thing I want to do, if I go back to that picture again, I can flip these around so it starts on my eye and zooms out to the observatory. Right up here at the top, it swaps the start and end. But I can fine tune that. Let's say I don't want you to see me at all. I want you to look at my son's hat, and it's going to zoom from his hat out to the observatory. And not just the observatory, I want it to be this part of the observatory. Now this is funky, and in 3 seconds, it will make you sick if you do too much of this. So I'm going to start here. Isn't that cool? This would be one of those that I might want to extend the duration of it, because if you do that too much, your viewers are going to be like, oh, it's like getting seasick. It's horrible. If you turn Ken Burns on, it is so smart. It will automatically do it, but in a more subtle way. This is really cool when you want to force the viewer's attention onto something particular, like not my forehead. Unfortunately, you can't like go up and around. But so if I select all of my video or all my clips and I come up to turn Ken Burns on, it'll just automatically do it. But know this, on pictures that you have added that are vertical, in your horizontal video, it's going to crop them for you. If you don't want it to do that, you can manually bring it out like this, but then you're going to get that black bar. So on the phone, let me show you how to do the Ken Burns on the phone because it's a little bit trickier. It will do it automatically, and it by default, I think Ken Burns is turned on. If I want to change the place where it's Ken Burnsing, oh, hang on, let me stop that. That's going to be okay. Right now, it's set to be starting. Can you see where it says pinch to position the end and pinch to position the beginning? I want to focus your attention on where my son helped me out with the word Stein. And I want it to end with where he showed me NBA. We went on vacation and I came home and I was doing my crossword puzzle last night. I was like, hey, that was nice of him to help me with those. So I took this picture. I want to focus in on those. So I have to go to I have to tap on this start position and zoom in or out by pinching on what I want it to start at, and then select the second one on where I want it to end. Otherwise, if I don't tell it, it's just going to kind of randomly choose for me. And usually it's spot on. So here, see how it kind of moves from top to bottom because this is a screenshot. Most of the time, I just trust what iMovie gives me for the Ken Burns effect. But sometimes, like here, you're not seeing the entire thing. So that's where I might go back and say, let's just adjust that end and the beginning manually. And so then when I play it, it shows what I want it to play instead of what Ken decided. Okay, so there is transitions, duration, Ken Burns. I'm going to add in some really quick audio. I'm going to do it on my phone first because I've got my phone handy. If I click on the settings cog down in the bottom right, yes, they do. Down in the bottom right, I can turn on the theme soundtrack. And I'm going to talk about theme next, but if you choose one of these themes here that's in this option or in this menu under the settings, you're not only going to get some cute little soundtrack music, but you're also going to get these transitions that go with that theme. So it's going to start me out with this and, oh, shoot, maybe it won't do it because I've already manually done it. If I hadn't already done this, I suppose it would give me, and you can't hear it because it's trying to come through my computer. That's okay. Trust me, try it on yours. It's there. On my computer, well, hang on, let me go back to my phone. Sorry. Okay, I want to add one of those soundtrack sounds. I'm going to turn this off because I don't want the theme. I'm going to say done. I'm going to go to the plus sign, just like when I added media. But instead of taking my photos and videos, I'm going to go back to where it says audio. Audio is going to give me several options, 3 of them. Soundtracks, which is the one I'm going to concentrate on. My music, that's stuff that I've bought that lives on my phone. Or sound effects. These are really fun. There's tons of them. Look at almost any sound effect you can think of, from clapping to dinosaur noise to cows moving. You're going to be able to find in there. Use those sparingly too. Your kids, yes, you know this. When your kids discover that they're going to put a sound effect on everything and it's super annoying. Soundtracks are these are where I was showing you all different kinds of sound, and they're categorized by pop, sweet, playful, chill. I want to decide that myself, but whatever, sentimental. So I'm just going to go and pick one that I already have. It samples it for you here in the soundtracks menu before you, let's say, buy it. You already have access to all these. It's part of the program. But right now you would be able to listen to it. If you actually want it to be in your project, you have to hit the plus. Notice where it goes. That will be important in a second when we talk more about audio. Unfortunately, I can't hear it because it's trying to play through my computer, but if I could, you would hear this really sweet, sappy music that's playing behind my really crappy selection of pictures. But with the phone, that's all there is to it. It's super easy. On the computer, it's not hard, but it's a little bit trickier. So what I'm going to do on the computer is go to take my playhead to the very beginning of the project, and I'm going to come up here to audio. Sadly, those soundtracks don't exist on my iMovie. I don't know why they're different, but I have downloaded on a site called Bensound several songs that I really like. And you can use any of them royalty free, but you have to say at the end of your project, music by Bensound. And it'll tell you that when you go to Bensound. But any songs that you have on your computer will work. I'm going to go here though to the sound effects. Oh, if you are using GarageBand at all, if any of you use GarageBand, one, I would happily take a class from you because that's one program I've never figured out. But two, any projects that you've done in GarageBand, you can pull in from here too. So I'm going to go to sound effects and I'm going to come up here to jingles because jingles is where the music is for the computer version of iMovie. What I typically do is I look at the duration of my whole project. Right now it's at 1:26, and I want to try to find a soundtrack that is at least that long, because if it's not long enough, then I end up having to pick another song or have that weird gap in there where nothing's playing. So I'm going to do this Fifth Avenue Stroll. I can sample it here. If I like it, I can hit E, and you see how it just pops itself down there. This is also important. Notice where it went below this line under my project. What this means is it's going to be behind. Oh, I don't know how to explain this. I'll show you. I can click it and drag it up. See right down here where it's got the music. Now it's attached to my video or my image. If I delete this picture now because it's attached to it, the whole thing will go away. When I put it behind my project, I can do whatever I want with these pictures and it doesn't mess with the sound. I can see right here, I'm going to have some sound distortion. See where it's yellow? I can really easily adjust that by just dragging this bar. If I turn it up too high, it gets red. I want it to be where there's no yellow or no red. One problem you'll see, don't think I chose any videos. If you have a video that you've pulled into your project, let me see if I have one here. Let me find one. Whoops. Whoa. Oh, this ride, by the way, was amazing. Okay, well, shoot. Because I don't use my computer very much, I don't really have many videos. What you're going to find is if you have a video and you play music behind it, the music and the video sound are going to be competing for your attention. It's really hard to hear. I'm just going to record something really fast. Funnest trip ever. Okay, so see if you can hear this. Trip ever. Now, in this case, it's not horrible because the sound is at the end. I want whatever the sound is from the video or my voiceover to be more predominant, but not too loud than the sound. So one way to do this, I can see right here, I recorded way too loud, so I'm going to duck this down. Do you see how that adjusted under there? I'll do it one more time. When I turn it up, this goes up. When I turn it down, this goes down. But I want the audio down here to duck back so that you hear my primary audio better. So when I select that, if I come up here and turn on lower volume of other clips, it'll push that sound level back. Now, fair warning, This is a little bit confusing. I want to lower the volume of other clips more or lower the volume less. It's like that double negative thing. If I want the volume of the other clips to be lower, I'm actually going to turn this up. Weird, right? It's backwards. Remember, you're lowering the volume more by turning it up. If you want to lower the volume less, you turn it down, making that background sound be higher. So I usually turn this up to about like what I estimate to be 75%. And here, I don't know if you'll be able to hear this. Trip ever. So do you see how it cut it way back and then came in again at the end? It's because I told it to lower the volume of the other clips, which happened to be this, by this amount more. I noticed that when I recorded, you saw that it gave me a countdown, but it cut the beginning off. This is going to be the fine tuner. It's called the clip trimmer. When I double click on, oops, sorry, I lied. I'm going to right click on that clip and I say show the clip trimmer. It's going to bring up this window where I can see the whole clip. I can adjust where that starts or push it back to just be that part I want. So I want the best to show too. So I just adjusted where it started. Another way I could do that is I could drag this sound. Remember, you can adjust clips by dragging the beginning or end. I can adjust that farther back and then move it so that it plays in the right spot. So now, funnest trip ever. Oh, I said funnest. And it caught the beep. So by looking, I can see right here is the beep. This is where I might want to zoom way in and then adjust it manually. So there's lots of ways you can do that, but you're going to get the most control by showing the clip trimmer and adjusting it up there. Okay, so I know that was a lot, but I want to give you a good chunk of time to just mess around with all of those editing features. Does that sound okay? Do you guys have questions before I set you to do that? Okay, Jerry, go for it.
Yeah, I have a question. So I'm using an iPad, and can I change themes throughout my video, or do I have to just, if I pick a theme, is that it for the whole thing?
Yeah, that's your video for the whole, or your theme for the whole thing. In that case, what you can do, is it just the music that you want from those theme things?
I'm just playing with it.
Okay, gotcha. You can pick and choose the music from the theme songs. Let me see. I have to think about how to do that. If I go to plus, it should be under audio. Maybe not. Let's say I'm just going to pick a couple of these though. If I say plus, I can, right now it's in the foreground, which means I can adjust it. So I can go to the end and, well, actually the easier way will be to split that. Let's say I want it to play over these first two pictures. If I select that after there and split it, then I can delete that part and add in a new one. So I can just keep adding in different music. But as far as like the little overlays with that you get with the themes, that's kind of a whole picture thing. I thought there was a way where you could get the music. Anything you do within that settings cog down there is going to be a whole project on the iPhone. Does that make sense?
Hey, Anne, have you had any trouble when you create your video and uploading it and it's not uploading the music?
I haven't. Where are you trying to upload it?
Well, so I just met with a teacher yesterday and she had a family member pass away, so they were making a slideshow essentially. And so every time I saved it on my computer, just the file to the desktop or downloads, it would play. But then when I went to put it in a Google folder, it was there, but the music wasn't playing. And so I don't know if it's because they were copyrighted songs or what. I have never had that happen. It was really weird.
No, I haven't either. The only thing I could think of, was she doing it with her school account?
Well, we ended up doing it on my computer because hers didn't have enough disk space. It was it was just kind of a mess, but I ended up just uploading it to an unlisted, as unlisted on YouTube. So
yeah,
I just never had that happen before, so I didn't know.
So I've had sometimes where I upload it to YouTube and then YouTube flags it because it recognized copyrighted
Right.
music.
And this did.
Yeah.
It said that we could still use it as long as that, you could have ads or whatever. I just thought it was weird that it was losing the audio going into Google.
Yeah, that I wonder if Google has added some kind of I've not had that happen, but I don't know why it would.
I know. The only thing I can think of is I think we're piloting Google Plus right now, and I wonder if that's an added feature.
Oh,
I bet it is.
maybe. Gosh, but you would think that, because what if you had a video of like kids talking?
Well, I do it all the time for schools, and so that's why I didn't know.
And it was just music that did it?
Mm-hmm.
Did you ask Brandon?
No.
Because it could have something to do with the Google settings.
Oh, I'm sure it does. Yeah. Sure does.
Ooh, that's
okay. Yeah, that's okay. We got it figured out though.
Yeah. Good thing to investigate though.
If there's any kind of a snap to this, like for example, if I'm putting my side by sides, what I kind of have run across since doing it is that like I can't seem to get them to be the same. I can't get them to be the same length of time to match up. So is there any kind of a snap that would put it so that, or any kind of a shortcut that I could use that would make them the same like duration?
So is it video or picture?
Picture.
Okay, let's see. So one thing I would say, on your settings here, I stopped sharing. Okay, so you're on your computer, you said, right?
No, I'm on an iPad.
Oh, iPad. Okay, let me see. That's a good question. I have never seen a snap to option other than if I'm looking at this picture and I see that it's 5 seconds. When I go to add the next one, oops. Say. Let's see here, like this, where this one's playing for this amount of time and that one's this amount.
Yeah.
It kind of snaps itself, sort of, but
so
not.
That's the problem I seem to be having is I can't seem to get it to match up with my finger. I guess I could try my pencil.
Yeah, stylus maybe. Try turning it sideways too, because maybe. Oh, you know what? You can pinch to zoom too. So if I'm turning my phone sideways, I can push out with my fingers to get that zoom level. That might just help control it a little bit. Yeah, that's a great question, Sarah. That's annoying. So just like with every tool, I'm sure you guys have found, there's going to be little annoyances. That's a time when, I'm going to go ahead and show this too, that manual that's available online is super helpful. I'm going to get the link and put it in the chat. And then, John, I see your question here. I will get to that, I promise. Let me find where I added the link. Let me go back here real quick. Actually, I don't even have to do that. Well, one thing on your computer, if you're looking at your computer, it's in the help menu, iMovie help, but there's also service and support, cameras, blah, 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 blah. On the computer, that's really easy to find. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you the link to that in chat here. Well, I'll come to it. It's just if you look up iMovie support, so support.apple.com/iMovie, you can get it for your computer or your iPad, depending what you're on, or your phone. But this user's guide right here might be a super handy thing to look up, like that snap thing. Right now I'm looking at the computer version, but if I search snap, it could be like there's something hidden in here that I've just never had the occasion to find. This little manual here goes into fantastic detail, like more detail than I ever knew. Okay, I didn't know what the playhead was for. You can add markers in the playhead if you want to be able to jump to something easily. Pretty much if you dream it, you can find it in here. So that would be something I'd suggest to look in here instead of just trying to Google, because you're going to get more specific information from the source. That would probably be where I would look first. John is asking about sharing, and I'm going to talk about that next. When you have created something and then edited it, what are you going to do with it next? That's kind of what we're going to talk about here to wrap up last. You certainly don't have to share your master project here, but I mean, it's good for us all to learn and for you to see how to do it. So one thing that I want to talk to you about is naming your project. I don't know why iMovie does it this way, but it does. Thank you, Nikki, for putting that in there. When you have been working on your computer and you've made something that you now want to share, it has you name your project after you've already been working on it, which I think is very strange. But I guess in a way it's nice because you can't get away with not naming it then. The problem with that, if you look over here on the left on my screen, you see where I have my movie 1, my movie 2, my movie 3. It's trying to remember what it was when you go back to it. If you just name everything my movie is kind of a pain. So I would suggest, even if it's just your test project like this one, or you were learning to use transitions or whatever it is that you're making, name it that. You can always rename it later. It's really simple. So if you don't, it's going to be called my movie 1, my movie 2. And just know that you might have to watch it to be able to find what it was. There are multiple ways to share, which, John, is why I didn't answer your question right away. Depending on what you're going to do with it, as you might have heard Sarah and I talking earlier, YouTube might be the best place for you to share it. You might just want it to live on your device. Maybe you're going to have it go to Google Drive. Maybe you made this for Facebook. Whatever your means or reasons, my pro tip here is save it to your device first, and then you can do whatever you want with it. I have found that when I upload something to go, say, straight to Facebook or straight to YouTube, I either can't check the progress of it, or I forgot that that's where I put it, or I realize I need to make an edit and it's already living out there online. So what I've started doing is saving it to my device, whether it's my computer or my phone or my iPad first, let it export there so that it lives on your device, and then you have a completed package with text, with audio, with video, all of that stuff. One condensed project that you can then save to wherever you want. One thing I do want to mention real quick, I've used this a handful of times, and you'll know it when you need to, but sometimes I just need to make an audio file. For whatever reason, I need to record something. I only need audio, not video. On the computer, it now lets you choose the format, whether you're going to do the video and the audio or just the audio. And this is why Sarah's question earlier confused me, because you see there's not an option to record video with no audio. So this was my original thought, but then that's not possible. So if you need to do it the opposite, where you just need to make something audio, this is one way to do it. you you do have to have something there, like a placeholder, like a picture. So say if I'm going to record something that's just going to be a video file, in order to use iMovie, because I don't know how to use GarageBand, you still have to put a picture or something into the project in order for it to record that audio, but then you can save just the audio. So when that happens to you, you'll know what I'm talking about. Right now, you're probably like, what? Just there. And another pro tip, when you're saving something, as I said, I've learned to save it to my device first. Sometimes I'm like, oh, shoot, did I actually save that? Or how much longer do I have to wait for this? You can monitor the progress by watching this little pie up here. It goes pretty fast, especially if you have it saved to be like high quality, but faster compression. You used to on this get like some really nerdy techie metrics that I never knew what they meant. So I was always kind of having to guess at exactly what I was saving. But now I just know that I want a high quality video with a fast compression so that it doesn't hog up a bunch of space. And then I can watch that progress here on this little pie. So I'm going to show you how to do that with my really terrible projects here. I'm going to go over to my computer and my phone, and I'm going to save these terrible things. So first, I've been working on this project that right now is called My Movie. In order to go back and actually share it, I can do it a few different ways on my computer. I can either share it directly right here using this share icon in the top right. I can go up to File and share it from the menu there. I can go back, I can leave this, force myself to name it iMovie demo junk. So I know what it was. And it's going to take me back to my project library where I get the 3 dots and I can share it from there as well. This is where I can do a few other edits. I can play it from here so I can watch what it looks like there. I can open it to edit it again. I can rename it, which is what I will often do if I have My Movie 1, My Movie 2, My Movie 3. But if I want to share it, what I said is I'm going to share it to my device first, and then I can upload it. So I can name it this. You can add any of this other stuff that you want. I do want it to be both video and audio, high quality, low compression, or fast compression. And then it's going to ask me where I want to save it. You do you, man. I've seen some of your desktops and I know that they can be very messy, but whatever system you have for organizing, do it there. If you sync your Google Drive, you could save it right to your Google Drive from here. I'm going to save mine to my desktop because I like to keep a nice tidy desktop. As soon as I do something with it, I delete it. So for now, I'm just going to go ahead and save it to my desktop. And you can see right here that the little wheel will start to spin as it goes. It's pretty fast. So while this junky project is saving, I'm going to come over here and do this one. With this one, as soon as I say done, I get to this menu here where I have those same options. I can either play it, edit it, or share it, or trash it altogether. I am going to rename it just by tapping on the title there and saying iMovie demo. When I hit share on this one, I'm going to get some fun phone options. I could share right to Facebook, right to Instagram. I can add my Google Drive right in there. But again, I like to save it right to my phone first. So I'm going to hit save video and I'm going to get the bar saving thing. So while these are both saving, I do have a folder that if you would like to save to our folder so that we can just see what you've magically worked on. I called it PBS 321 because today is 321, you guys. It's 321. PBS 321, because it is a bit.ly, it's case sensitive. But PBS 321-iMovie. Whoa, 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 whoa. Let me get that into the chat. If you want, you certainly don't have to, but we could use some inspiration. Because it's case sensitive again, you'll want to copy and paste the link that I put there in the chat directly. So up here, my little pie no longer, this doesn't show, which means it's successfully finished saving there. And my phone really politely tells me that it's in my photo library. Now that I have that, I have it in either place on my computer, the one that I made there, or my phone, the one I made there, to do with what I want. So on my phone, I'm going to go ahead and save that to this drive folder. Because I made it, I'm just going to cheat, go to my photo roll and share it there, because this is some high quality stuff, I'm telling you. Whoopsie. Recent. Oh, there it is. 36 seconds long. Now that it lives on my phone, I'm just going to hit the share button and put it in Drive that way. Okay, the computer one, if you have saved it to your desktop and you're able to go to this folder, the iMovie folder, yay, look at it. Darla, good job, both of you guys. I'm going to take that from my desktop where I saved it, and I'm just going to drag it in. Once I've done that and I see that it's uploaded, I'm going to delete it off my desktop, because that's what I do. I know it's extra steps, but I have messed with this long enough and often enough where I've messed up and I thought that I saved it to my drive, but I actually didn't. And then I go back to reshare it with myself. That I've learned for myself, saving it to my device and then uploading it works the best for me. That's been a really good system for me. Okay, so while we're waiting that to finish, I'm going to finish this up here. And I want to talk about trailers. Trailers are super fun and super easy. What trailers allow you to do is take your footage, photos or videos, and put them into a super cool project. Kids love this. Kids come up with some really clever ways to use these, like book reviews. Gosh, I've seen kids do all kinds of fun stuff with these. Because there's so many themes to choose from, they can make book reports. They can make something, an event that you have coming up as for a class. Whatever you have in mind, they can probably do with the trailer. And what's extra cool about it is it walks you right through it. So essentially what's going to happen is you're going to edit an outline that they love to put in, who's in it, who's making it, what role they played. They're going to edit a storyboard, which is super cool if you teach any literacy concepts at all, talking about the importance of planning out, mapping the storyboard. It walks them right through exactly what's going to happen. They put in the little narrative based on the theme that they chose, and then it tells you exactly how many shots you're looking for. And on the computer, you even have a shot list. So it tells you you're going to want a close-up on this one. You're going to want a wide angle shot on this one. They certainly don't have to use those, but it really helps knowing how fast those are going to cycle through, what's going to look best there. So I'm just going to show you a super quick trailer. Hang on. I'm going to try to anyway. So certainly not my best work. And you can see that I duplicated a couple images and the Ken Burns effect was off on some of them. But what happens when you put the pictures in, and especially if you follow the storyboard and the recommendations that it gives you for the layout of the picture, when you put those in there and it plays with the music, I don't know, there's just something magical about it that makes it look super professional, very polished and fun, in a way that you working through a movie and going through the pain points of stretching this one image out and overlaying it with that video and getting the sound to be just right. It makes it so much easier. So I think it's super important to know how to use the movie segments, because sometimes that 30-second trailer or 1 minute and 40-second trailer is not what you need. You need something a lot more meaty, and the ability to fine tune the length of images and videos a lot more. But especially for kids, or if you're looking to do something just really fun and quick, trailers is the way to do it, man. I'm hoping that you at least got to play with, I can see a few of them that are in the folder now, but playing with these trailers is so fun, isn't it? Yeah. As far as for the content of our Media Lab discussion tonight, using this for digital storytelling. Oh, if you had these pictures 5-10 years from now, saved to something like a video or even a trailer, to go back and listen to their little voices and see what they look, oh, it's such a treasure. It's such a treasure. I just love it. Or your cat. So
my father just died, and I'm going to do one now that I've done this, because I have several things that he told us about himself in the war and so forth that will be actually just wonderful to pass on to the family.
What a great treasure, Darla. And you are absolutely welcome to email me anytime at all. I think my email address is there in the presentation towards the end there. But I'm going to let Nikki wrap it up for us, unless anybody has any other questions.
Yeah, and this is why we record this, because tomorrow you may not remember exactly where to find things. And so that's why you can rewatch the recording and, you know, go back and forth. And it is recorded, like it really will happen. You can go back and you can find all of that again. And Anne has been awesome. This is, I don't know, like the bazillionth time she's presented for us. But last spring we did a whole session just on iMovie for iPad. And then she did another session on iMovie for MacBook and iMac. And so both of those sessions are archived on our website. So if you want to go into those sessions and rewatch them and see some of those step-by-step things for that, you totally can. So